morning today, apparently. Welcome back to Sip Fearlessly. I'm your girl, Sue Fearless.
And I'm Gigi.
And we're so excited. As always, we have an incredible show today. We have two incredible guests. Just, happy to be in the room.
Yes.
With so many amazing, inspiring people. We just came off of an incredible interview also with Miss Erica Ford.
Yes.
So shout out to her. Make sure you grab her book. Okay, her book is launching today, which is the 12th, because I know when this airs, it won't be the 12th,
Right.
but her book launched the 12th, so make sure you grab it. The Peace Doctor's Playbook.
Right, yes.
Okay, so a lot of gems in there. And yeah, just we're trying to close out the year with a lot of greatness and positivity.
Right.
So that we can rest a little and, refresh for the next year and reset.
Right, and work on your goals and work on everything that you didn't accomplish this year. You'll definitely will do it next year.
Absolutely.
With a plan.
That's right. And I'm happy to be here with sis.
Always, sis, always.
I can't wait to party and grab a drink and,
I know.
chillax.
Girl.
But I know. But we are sitting here with an amazing guest, with our first guest, Mr. Otis D Gore.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to Sip Fearlessly. Yes.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And thank you again so much for your patience, your communication.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think that is super key. And that's something we were actually talking about on the last show too. I just want to, before we dive in with you, I just want to say follow up and consistency is key.
Yep.
Right.
Okay? And just making sure you keep that communication. A lot of us go out and network, and we'll talk a little bit more about that with our next guest also. But we go out and network, and we don't have a follow-up. We don't have a follow-through. We
Right.
must. If you want to continue to grow those relationships and grow your network, you must follow up. So
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you for that. And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate having you here with us. Yes, and I can't wait to dive into your book. But
Thank you so much.
Otis is a multifaceted leader, certified speaker, esteemed mentor, and author with a passion for personal development and
Yeah.
a deep understanding of self-improvement.
Yes.
Who has established himself as a respected figure in both fields. Okay? And I had to include that in the intro because it is definitely powerful.
Yes.
And I'm all about growth,
Yes.
self-development, mindset.
Yep.
So I can't wait to dive into this conversation with you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I like that intro.
Yes.
That's
Much
good.
needed
For a
conversation.
minute there, I was like, who's she talking about?
I love it. But let's dive right into it. So
Yeah.
share with us a little bit about your journey into leadership and personal development,
Yeah.
and what sparked your passion for this field.
So, I always tell people that as I was growing up, I'm from the Bronx, and I was growing up in the Bronx. I've always, yes, absolutely, Yankee fan.
Okay, yes.
Absolutely. For some reason, I don't, unbeknownst to me, I've always been put in this position of people come to me for advice and leadership and want me to do this and this. I guess they saw me a certain way. And I always said to myself, okay, so maybe there's something to that. Right? Even when I worked in corporate America, I always tend to ascend to a supervisor position or something like that. So, I just embraced it. And what made me dive into writing a book was, there's a few, as you know, I'm in real estate, so I'm also a broker and I mentor agents and stuff like that. And I noticed that a lot of the agents want to go to a certain place in their career, but they never want to take the step, like they're afraid to take the step. So I found myself constantly having conversations about them, about how their mindset has to be in a certain space for them to even accomplish what they're thinking about, right? So I said to myself, wow, it's amazing how things like fear and doubt can actually stop you in your tracks from living the life that you believe you can live.
Talk about
And
it.
it started, about a couple of years ago, it started bubbling under in my mind. So I started journaling because I journal a lot. Journal is therapy. I don't know if anybody
Right.
Absolutely.
knows that, but I still got journals from way back. I'd be like, I said that? Yeah. So I started journaling, and then before I knew it, I had enough information where I was like, I might have to start forming this into a book. And it's funny, when I told just a handful of people what I was gonna do, they already saw me that way. They were like, well, it's about time. I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
That's why I tell people, it's not how you see you. People see you differently than you see yourself.
Right.
Absolutely.
They may see things in you that you don't see, but you have to just figure out what it is.
Right.
So that's what really got me to the point of writing this book.
Yeah, nice, nice. Okay. Well, I mean, what within you, though, I want to ask you, maybe I know others saw it in you and you were pouring into so many and mentoring so many.
Yes.
Just as an innate, natural thing for you to do.
Yeah.
But did anything in your life shape you into being this type of person? Because it is not easy to be the mentor, to
Right.
be, the leader.
So that's a good question because I never really thought about why that happens or how I became that. But then as I did think about it, when we were kids, like where I come from, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you guys. Y'all guys look like you're 21. Right.
Listen, we're all young here.
Oh, yeah.
Forever
So-
young.
But when I grew up, there was a gentleman named Jerome Christie and Eddie Hernandez, and these guys were part of the youth center, right? And in the youth center, they were leaders. They used to keep the kids out of trouble and everything, and I kind of tagged on to that. And so I guess from that aspect, I was like 13, 14 years old, and I seen how they affected people. When we grow up, unfortunately, I don't know about you, about myself in the Bronx, there's a lot of, it's a lot of, adversity, destitute. Right. It's not a lot of hope. Mm-hmm. But they instilled hope in people. And as I seen how that affected people, I was like, I need to be that kind of person. I couldn't be another kind of person, whereas your road is not great. So
Right.
I guess in that aspect, from there, I would have to say that kind of got me on that road.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're living in a really tough time right now. I mean, and not only at this moment, but it's been going on, for a while now. And then, obviously we have had this election. How do you speak to people? How do you speak empowerment to people in times when they're feeling down and they're feeling like it's so hard for them to be represented?
So what I tell people like this: when you wake up, right, and you wake up with an attitude of gratitude, you have a day now to be better than the day before. The only person if you're going through a process or you're going through hard times, what have you, you're only going through that because that's what you believe you're actually going through. So what you need to do is this: when you wake up every day and you look in that mirror, right, and that mirror says, okay, who am I? You ask yourself 3 questions. Who am I? Where am I going? And who do I want to be? Because there is a mirror effect that I thought about. I saw this in high school and it stuck with me. So there's the image of you and then there's the reflection, right? So the image is your mind, but the reflection is your life. Okay, so you're only going to change that reflection if you change your mind, right? So when you're looking into that mirror, right, and you see that and you see that image, but then if let's say you got a pimple on your face or what have you, and you clean in the mirror, and you stand, the pimple's still there. It's still on a reflection. I can't change the reflection. You got to address the issue. Then as you're going back to the reflection, now that reflection changes.
Right.
You understand? It's changing because if you take it as someone who wants to lose weight or get in shape or what have you, the first thing you do is you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see.
Right.
You don't like that image. You're saying, oh gosh, I'm fat. Or whatever, I want to get in shape, whatever. But as you go along in the process of training and eating right and doing what you need to do, that reflection starts to change. So that's how you got to think about it in your mind. There's a speaker, right? His name is Delatoro McNeil. Very, very good guy. I like to hear him speak. And he says something about there's a difference between a brain and a mind. The brain is just the organ that's between your ears, and that brain is supposed to pump blood to your body, keep you alive, right? Help you think, right? But as you process the brain and you train that brain and the information you get, now that brain becomes a successful mind. So that's the difference. So people say, how is there a difference between the brain and the mind? There is a difference. The brain is just the brain. But what you put into that brain and what you implement, that becomes the successful mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. That is the most difficult part is being able to control your mind, control your thoughts.
Yeah.
And, shift them to, the frequency that they should be in so that you can be able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish and be able to eliminate self-doubt, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's the difficult part of it, right? But like you, I'm a huge advocate for mindset shift.
Yep.
I went through my own challenges, as I was growing up and became a young mom and things like that, and nothing changed in my life until I shifted my mindset.
Yep.
until I changed the way that I responded to things that were happening to me, the way that I approached situations, instead of looking at everything as, I'm just a failure or all of these things just happened to me. I started looking at it like, well, what can I learn from this so that it doesn't happen again?
Exactly.
How can I approach this so it doesn't bring me into a depressive state?
Yes.
Things like that. So I think that's literally one of the hardest things to do, but it is one of the greatest things that
Yes.
anybody can do is learn to master your mind.
Yes, absolutely. And it's amazing because in the book, in the Audacity of Doubt, right, I have it written in certain sections, meaning that there's a certain sequence that it should go. So obviously, you got to talk about the first section is about time. Then after time, you got to begin the process. The hardest thing to do is to begin that process. So you got the time, figure out the time, to begin, and then you got the mindset. Right? Then after the mindset, then you're talking about your growth, and then your strength and your value, right? Because in people's minds, right, they're not gonna shoot for or push for or try to gain anything that doesn't hold enough value to them.
Right.
If you notice, thing about people, if it has enough value for them, they're gonna push for it. They're gonna go after it, and that's the problem with a lot of people. Like, I call it like it's three things, right, in people's minds. And you're either gonna be intrigued by something in your mind, or what you want to do. You're intrigued by a lot of stuff, or you're gonna believe you can actually do it, or you're gonna truly believe. There's a difference. So if you're intrigued, right, you see something that's interesting. There's a lot of things that's interesting, but does it move you enough to take a couple of steps?
Right.
Maybe, maybe not. Most of us go through that. Then you have something that you believe you could do. I think I could do that. You take a couple of steps towards it. Then what happens is you pause as soon as adversity hits. So you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't want it that badly.
That bad, right.
Maybe I got it to a point. Let me decide
I'm
if
not
I
ready
want.
now.
Yeah, maybe I would decide how far I want to go. But then there's that very, very rare thing that you find that you don't tell nobody what's going to happen. You're just going to do it. You're going to reach it. You're going to put on your blinders. You're going to put on your horse blinders, because that's what the horses do in the race. They put the blinders on so they don't get distracted. And you're going to just go for it. No matter what nobody tell you, I'm doing this.
Right.
That's something that you truly believe you can do. You're going to eat, drink, and sleep it. Ain't nobody going to stop you.
Right.
Those are the things. So when people say, no, you just got to believe. No. You got to truly believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can believe in a lot of things, but what are you actually going to shoot for?
Yeah. Yeah. And everything you're saying is accurate. And there's also self-confidence that has to be involved, because I do feel like sometimes we may want those things really badly, but then when we are achieving them, or where we're close to achieve them, then we have that moment where we have like imposter syndrome, and we're like, wait a second, can I really do this?
Yeah.
Can I really go and speak, in front of all these people?
Yep.
Can I really, write this book, So we have those moments. So I think let's talk about self-confidence and like, how do you define it, and why do you believe it's crucial?
Well, see, a lot of people confuse self-confidence with conceit. They confuse that. You might see someone that might come across as, oh, he's Mr. Know-It-All, or she's Mr. Know-It-All. No. They just really believe or truly believe that they can do something.
Yes.
Okay, so if I don't even get that mixed up. I embrace it. I'll say, hey, good for you. Something. I mean, obviously you can have a little humble pie, but
Right.
but there's a way that you can actually approach your confidence, right? So whatever it is that you're going for, you have to be aggressive, right? And I remember I heard this quote one time where it says, you could be aggressive, but you don't got to stop. You have to be patient. You got to be in the waiting period. You have to be aggressive while you're waiting to become what you want to become. So you're never stopping doing it, right?
Right.
I told my daughters one time, I told them that, for you to achieve something in your life, you have to become unstoppable, undeniable. You got to make that person or that thing, that place or that company want to hire you regardless, or you're going to start your company and you're going to be undeniable. Your product's going to be like, wow, this is it. And the way that you do that is you got to be connected to the universe 4 different ways.
Amen.
You got to be connected.
Yes.
You got to be connected to the universe spiritually. You got to be connected to the universe physically. You got to be connected mentally. But the main thing, you got to be connected emotionally.
Yes.
Because I always tell people, and I said this in a speech before, I said, the more you can control your emotions, the less the world has power over you.
Ooh. Yes.
And that's a
I
true
say that
statement.
all the time.
People go on your reaction.
Yes.
All right, they see, and when I was talking to these kids at 153, I explained to them, I said, look, people are watching you. When I was in high school, my English teacher, Mr. Ross, he told me, Otis, you're being watched. Everything you did, you're being interviewed. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not going for a job. I'm only 16, you know. But I didn't understand what he was saying until later. What he was telling me was, people are watching how you speak. They're watching how you react. They're watching who you hang with, how you dress, how you. They're watching you. You never know who could change your life.
Right.
You never know. It might be someone that might say, hey, Sue, I've been watching you. I got something for you that I think you'd be good for. And you're like, really? Yeah.
Right.
I got something for you. Because people, not only do you got to see yourself in a certain space, but others got to see you too. Like you guys got this all going on. This is awesome. Sip Fearlessly, great logo. Sisters, y'all guys got everything going on. You guys are actually right there to get your own TV show on a network and everything.
Amen.
And I'm putting that
Thank
into
you.
the universe.
Into
right?
the universe.
Putting
Yes.
that to the universe, exactly. You know, so you guys are right there. But you see, the difference is that you took the steps.
Right.
And you push through the doubt, you push through the fear, and you are here. Now, how many people that you know, or you probably don't even know, that want to do what you're doing, but they don't want to take that step? And there's a saying that says, I'd rather die leaping in fear than to constantly stand on the edge
Yes.
and wonder what could have been, right?
Exactly.
So you need to take that step.
You know, let me interrupt you for 1 second. This is great, by the way. I feel like we're in therapy right now. But yes, the universe, oh my God, yes, number one. But, you know, you're talking about, I'd rather die having taken that leap
Yeah.
rather than standing on the ledge with fear. It's so crazy because when I was younger, for maybe a few years period of time, I kept having this continuous dream of me, and I'm also a Capricorn, a goat. So I kept having this dream of me going all the
January.
way up the mountain and throwing myself into the abyss, but nothing would ever happen. I would wake up from there.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that you say that because it is kind of a narrative for my life because I am that person that takes a leap of faith. I am that person that, you know, bets on myself and takes those risks. Let's talk about how important that is.
It's really, really important because, you know, when as we're growing up as humans, as a child, you hear more no's than you hear yeses. You know, as a child is developing, what are they saying? Mommy, can I do this? Can I do this? No. Right? But in our case, in a lot of cases in the minority field, unfortunately, we hear a lot of no's. We hear a lot of adversity. There's a lot of things that we have to fight through in order to gain what we want. You know, I always talk about having an unlimited mindset. You know, you got to be limitless, right? Which, because you grow up and you have certain habits and thoughts and processes, you might think that this is all there is for me. This is all there is, and it's not easy to push through the limited beliefs, right? So, you know, fear is like three things to me, right? Fear is three things. Number one, it's a false existence appearing real. That's number one. So now that you know that fear is a false existence appearing real, F-E-A-R, now you got two choices. So that false existence appearing real is either going to be, you're going to forget everything and run, or you're going to face everything and rise. You're going to do one of those two, right? So a lot of us forget everything and run.
Right.
We do, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And then we come in, and then we fall into the realm of, oh, I should have and I could have. Man, if I would have kept on going, I'm not going to lie. When I used to play baseball and I just saw the recent contract from Juan Soto, $765 million, I was like, I should have kept playing baseball. Oh my God. I was like, $765 million.
Right.
So, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought about that, right?
Right.
And the thing about becoming who you truly believe you want to become is that you don't know who you're influencing. You don't have to say nothing to nobody, but you could be influencing. You ladies right now are influencing somebody.
Right.
That's a fact.
Just from them watching you. So in the morning time when I go jogging, right? I mean, I want to go, but I go because it's a habit that I've got in place now. So as I'm jogging and I'm trucking and I go past the bus stop or what have you, I see some people that are out of shape. I know for a fact someone's saying, I got to get back to the gym. But that's what I'm saying. You never know who you're influencing. Like I was telling you the story before.
Right.
It was an amazing story, and it really caught me off guard. I was telling her, I don't know if you're aware, but I'm also a realtor. So I was showing a house in Mount Vernon, and I was talking to some clients. I was standing in front of the house, and then this lady drove by, and then she came by again and stopped the car, and she came walking up towards the house, and she told me, excuse me, I said, hello, you want to see the house? And she said, no. She pulled my book out of her bag and said, is this you? And I was like, well, yes, it is. I was shocked. And she said, oh, no, my dad came to the he came to the open house. He took a picture. I came back. I love it, and I was gonna sign it. So when she said, you know, it was surreal for me. It was odd.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, can you sign it for me?" And I was like, "Yes, I can. Thank you. I'll sign that for you. Not a problem." So I looked at the
Right.
clients like, "Yo, better get the house now."
Right, exactly.
But those moments, right? Those
Yeah.
things, because there's a lot of people who I know. I was telling someone the other day that there's people who I know or in my family been telling me that they want to write a book. They've been telling me for 15, 20 years, but it never happened.
Yeah.
Not saying that it won't. I want
Right.
everyone to do it. Everything happens in its own
Yeah.
time. But you just got to just go for it. If you tell someone that you want to do something or you should do something or I'm thinking about doing something, you don't really want to do it to me. To me, you got to come to me and say, "Hey, guess what I'm doing? I started doing this. I'm doing this." Okay, so you took some initiative already.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of us, either
Yeah.
we're afraid to take the initiative or we need someone to push us
To push us, yeah.
to take the initiative.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you truly believe, no one should push you.
No, I agree with you 100%. We have to put our grown man and grown woman drawers on
Yeah.
and get out into the world
Yeah.
and, you know, fight for what we want and what we want to accomplish, you know. And then another thing I want to add is also, you know, drown out the outside noise because that's also a big contributor to self-limiting beliefs, you
Yep.
know. Once people start getting to you, you know, the negativity, you know, that type of energy that's not conducive to for you to continue to grow
Right.
and keep going in that direction, you have to drown out all
Yeah.
of that noise. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually speak about that in the book too.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the book. Okay? So the book is called The Audacity of Doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Addressing self-limiting beliefs,
Yes.
which we're discussing. So let's talk about the book. What was the most challenging part? How did it feel writing it?
It's weird because as I started writing the book about 2 years ago, and it actually had a different title. It had a different format. It was going to be a different type of book. But as I was going along and talking to people and noticing things and journaling, it changed into something. I had to change the name. I had to change the whole direction because as I was reading, because you know, as you're writing a book, you read the rough draft, the manuscript, and you're like, this is whack. I'm just saying, you're gonna find that out. So, so then you kind of change and you adjust and you go and
Yeah.
you go, and then it turns out to what it is. So that journey for me is I had a lot of doubt myself, believe it or not. I had doubts because there were moments when, or month and a half, when I didn't have anything to write. The manuscript sat there for I was only up to 6 chapters and I didn't write anything else.
Right.
So then I was like, maybe I just put it out with 6 chapters. But I knew that I needed the book to be a certain way, a certain amount of words, certain amount of text, certain amount of look or feel. So I had to keep pushing it. Right. So I used that mindset to say, let me just keep going. It's going to be ready when it's ready. And it took 2.5 years to happen. The name changed, the cover, everything. And actually, the publishers that helped me, I self-published it, they didn't even want me to use the daggone cover. They wanted me to have a different name. And they was like, you can't put your picture on the cover. I was like, why not? They said, you ain't famous. Only people like Oprah. I was like, well, I'm going to be Oprah.
Right.
Exactly.
I like when people say, you can't. I go and I do it still.
Exactly.
That's right.
Like I did it.
That's
So how
right.
do you deal with the fear and the doubt while writing the book? How do you deal with that?
Well, I actually looked at it as, I used the word contradiction. How am I going to write a book about overcoming self-doubt and fear and pushing through limited beliefs when I'm not doing it? You understand?
I say that to myself all the time.
Exactly. I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna do it. Then I think to myself, wait a minute. How am I gonna go out there and speak to people about this, and I didn't do it?
Right.
So I'm a firm believer in whatever it is you're preaching, who you're trying to lead, who you're trying to push. You have to already been through that process.
Yes.
You have to already done something or showed through. Look, hey, on the other side of this process, this is what I found. This is who I am now, and I'm still evolving. Right. So right now I can show you some things, and that's the whole key. So for this book, I had to make sure that I went through certain things and had to be sure that I pushed through to get it too, because I've already told a couple of people. And if it wouldn't have been up on that, it would have been like, you've been saying that for 5 years. So I don't want to be that guy. I want to go for it. And no one helped me. Like I did this whole thing without someone telling me, because I know, just like how you said, there would have been those naysayers. Who, a book?
Of course.
For what? Like, okay, what happens next? There's always that. Misery loves company. It is what it is. The only thing you could do is love those people from afar.
Right.
And I
That's
talk about
it.
that in the book. It's talked about
That's it.
nurturing personalities and toxic personalities. It's all in the book.
Yes. Use it as ammunition.
I use that as ammunition. You say, you know what? I love you.
Right.
Exactly.
That's it.
I hear you, but I'm gonna show you.
There you go. I hear you, but I'm going to show you.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to dive in.
Me neither.
Yes.
And read it. Yes, I feel like, I know I always say this, Reggie. I feel like we have a lot to talk about. We should have a powwow.
Yeah, we definitely.
Yes. I feel like we need to bring sis more over on this side. Absolutely, because she's amazing.
Yes.
And has amazing talents.
I'm actually dealing with doubt and fear myself.
Oh, so the book is perfect for
But
you.
Yes.
exactly, so everything is in alignment.
Yes.
Yes.
The word
Yes.
audacity has been
Audacity.
the past couple of days. That's
Yeah.
just been the word. So
This whole election. Audacity. No.
Listen. But before we close out, leave us with some more amazing jewels. What legacy do you hope to leave through your work, writing, mentorship, and leadership?
You know, the word legacy is an operative word. Only reason I say that is because, you are right now the director of your own movie. This is your life, so you're actually directing it. Now you're writing it, and some of us are leaving different types of legacies. We don't know exactly what it is. We have an idea of what we want it to be. Most of us, but some of us don't. Right. Most people say good things or bad. They say good things about people once they're no longer here physically. But if you in your trail as you're leaving, and as you go on, you have to think to yourself, okay, what reassessment now? What have I done so far in my life, up to this point in my life? Who have I affected? The main person you got to affect is yourself. Right. You have to make sure that you're okay, so that you can offer better things to the people that you're going to be there to help. Right. So people always say, "Oh, my daughter's first, and my this and this and first." No, you got to be first, because the better off you are, the better you can give.
Yes.
Right.
The better you can help, right? So my name is Otis, O-T-I-S. So I have an acronym for my name, O-T-I-S, is actually Optimistic Thoughts Inspire Success.
I love it.
Right?
I love acronyms.
It's in the book, though.
So. I love
And
it.
so in the book, we talked about time. So I want to leave you with something that Harvey Mackey said, and it's in the book, and he talks about time, right? So the main thing about time, he says that time is free, but it's priceless. He said, you can't own it, but you can use it. He said, you can't keep it, but you could spend it.
Right.
But once you lose it, you can never get it back.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
on that
powerful.
note,
That's
we need to
powerful.
bring you back.
Yes.
Okay? But we're closing. I'll let everyone know where they can follow you and where they can grab your book. And we are good. Thank you.
Fantastic. You can I have my website, otisdgoreauthor.com. You can also go on my IG, which is Instagram, which is @GoreOtisD. And you can actually find me I'm on Facebook, and just Google my name, and you'll see all the things that's going on with me.
Amazing. I can't
appreciate
wait.
you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait to learn
Amazon,
more.
get the book on
Thank you.
Amazon.
Amazon, okay?
Yes.
Amazon, yes. Come on, we have to shift our life. We're about to go into 2025, okay?
We're going to thrive
Yes,
in 2025.
we are going to thrive, yes.
Right.
Well, this is Live Fearlessly. I'm Sue Fearless.
And I'm Gigi.
Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
Thank you so much.